Hello everyone. Good evening. How are you? Once again, we are back with another session of the INDIASPARK live talk show. And today's topic would be on future of entrepreneurship and innovation hubs. This is Rupa Tanti, the founder of INDIASPARK. So INDIASPARK is a platform connecting students and the young professionals with the global industry leaders across different sectors to empower and develop the workforce ecosystem in India. So it's happy to announce you that we had a wide academic outreach of 1500 plus colleges within 20 plus states and 2500 plus schools across India. So today, and one more announcement to the participants I would like to say before, going with the speaker's introduction. All the participants, please fill in your Google Forms, which are there in our official LinkedIn India Spark page for the valuable feedback. And also, if you would like to have the e-certifications for this session, kindly enter your correct name and surname. Okay, so let's go to the show now. And today we have with us the eminent speaker for the session is Ms. Monica Mehta, who is the Executive Vice President of Wadhwani Foundation. We welcome you to the session, Ms. Monica.
Thank you, Rupa. Thank you for those kind words. Really nice to be here, everyone. I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited with the kind of work that INDIASPARK is doing and engaging students not only in the large metro cities but also in tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities. My hope is that I can give you all some information on the work we do at National Entrepreneurship Network at Wadhwani Foundation. But also I'm hoping that I can, help you guys engage more and learn more about entrepreneurship and innovation the way we understand it. So let's have an engaging session. I'm happy to go back and forth. If you have any questions, stop me by all means. Ask me questions if you want in between. And I'm happy to answer them. So should we start, Rupa, or?
Yeah, first let me give you an introduction. Just 2 minutes one. Yeah. So Monica leads the Wadhwani Entrepreneur Initiative of the foundation, which focuses on the college program. Prior to joining the foundation, she was a director at Omidyar Network, where she led the education, skilling investments, as well as grants in India. She has been the founding partner at Kaizen Private Equity, India's only private equity fund focused on education. Her experience has spanned across strategy, investments, and operations over the past 28 years. She enjoys solving complex problems, especially in the early stage businesses where obvious solutions often lack. She is drawn to leading teams with a diverse skill sets, which she has successfully done both as an entrepreneur and an investment professional. She has a passion for the impact investing in education and the future of work segments, financial services, and emerging technologies. So, moving on over to you, Monica, where you can explain to our participants what's all about Wadhwani Foundation and the National Entrepreneurship Network.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rupa. And again, good evening, everyone, those who joined right after I spoke. I'm going to take you all through a brief presentation about Wadhwani Foundation. So Wadhwani Foundation broadly has about 6 or 7 initiatives. The single-minded mission of our foundation is to create high-value jobs at scale. We really want to ensure that we solve the problem of unemployment and unemployability in the country. And the National Entrepreneurship Network, which is what NEN stands for, is our absolute flagship program. So this is what we started with about 15 years ago when Wadhwani Foundation first began its work in India. Today, the National Entrepreneurship Network has really grown and we've spread our wings. We're not only in India, but we are in about 20 countries around the world. Our aim at Wadhwani NEN is to empower students with the knowledge and skills that they would need to create high potential startups, and we really want to handhold them to succeed survive and, to sustain themselves. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Vadvani Foundation's mission before we deep dive into Vadvani NEN. And at any point in time, like I said, if there are questions, please feel free to put it in the chat box. And Rupa, if you see that, because I have a full screen right now, so if you see the chat box, please do feel free to stop me and ask me questions. I'm very happy to answer questions.
Sure, Monica.
Again, like I mentioned, the mission of the foundation, everyone, is accelerating economic development and emerging economies through large-scale job creation. So all we want to focus on is job creation. There are many ways to create jobs, right? I mean, there is no one simple way to create jobs in any emerging economy. And we happen to be in India, Mexico, Brazil, Indonesia, Philippines, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, South Africa. And like you can see, all of these are young emerging economies that have great potential, a very large workforce, and a large youth population, just like we have here in India. And we want to ensure that we really support these young students who are in college and young entrepreneurs who've already decided to be on that journey with not only their journeys, but enable them to create jobs along the way. So we help the unemployment problem in the country. So the way we create jobs is through entrepreneurship, innovation and skills development. And we do that through the 5 initiatives that you see at the bottom of the slide. We hope that by enabling young startups and entrepreneurs to create jobs, we can change lives. And when we think of changing a life, we think of changing the life of a family, right? So through creating high value jobs and empowering individuals to command those jobs, and therefore hopefully give a livelihood not to just that individual person, but to maybe a family of 4. And of course, we want to scale this impact, right? I mean, we don't want to be stuck with just being in a small part of India or in a small part of the world. We want to ensure that we can spread ourselves in a way that we can multiply this impact. We want to have the multiplier effect. So we do this through technology programs. We do this through our networks. We do this through partnerships that we create across different continents in Asia, Africa, Latin America, etc. We have 5 different initiatives, like you can see at the bottom. The first one is Vadvani Advantage. And Vadvani Advantage is our small and medium-sized enterprise program, SME program. Here we actually support small and medium-sized businesses through a consulting model to address gap areas that they might have in their growth and therefore enable growth for them. So that if they grew maybe multifold, we could enable job creation and they could create jobs. I'm going to skip Vadvani Entrepreneur because that's what today's session is about, and I'll come back to that at the end.
Monica, sorry to interrupt. Have you shared the screen? We could not view the screen.
Oh. Yes, I did. Let me go back and screen share again if I haven't. Can it be viewed now?
No.
Okay. All right. Give me a moment.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, now we could view it.
Now, yes. Okay, great.
It's a first slide.
I mean, that was just the introduction, what Vadvani NEN is. And then this is the slide I was on and I was trying to explain. So sorry that you missed that, but these were the 3 top boxes that I talked about, the creating jobs, us wanting to change lives, and us scaling our impact. Here are our initiatives at the bottom. So I talked about Vadvani Advantage, which is our SME program. And the Vadvani Entrepreneur Program is the one that we're going to talk most about today. So I'll come back to that at the end. And we now have, Vadvani Opportunity. I'm going to just move this up here so that you all can see it. Vadvani Opportunity is our skilling program. And through this, we partner with NSDC, we partner with NCRT, we partner with CBSE. These are programs which we help with young students with. So 8th to 12th grade is our target segment. And our intention is to skill them with 21st century skills. So you could call that communication, collaboration, critical thinking. These are important 21st century skills that we enable them to learn. Along with that, we also teach them hard skills. So we have certain sectors in which we really teach them hard skills. This could be retail, it could be real estate, it could be different sectors that we enable them to gain skills with, so that they can, actually become more employable, therefore, and get jobs. Vadvani Innovate is the next program here. And Vadvani Innovate really is very similar to the SBIR program that they have in the US. And what we do here is that there are a lot of innovations that often happen in universities and colleges in India. But very often they never see the light at the end of the day, right? In the sense that they have good innovations and research coming out of universities, but those never become real products that are out there in the market. So we give them grants to young students and professors at universities that have interesting, innovative ideas, so that they can actually make those ideas real by creating products and services that can be tested in the market. And finally, we have Vadvani AI, and Vadvani AI is a partner program to Vadvani Foundation. The Artificial Intelligence Institute actually has artificial intelligence platforms. Those are platforms for social good. So, for example, we have a platform on agriculture where this artificial intelligence platform can enable farmers, predict cotton crops, right? As an example, or it can help doctors for healthcare predict the potential of a child at a very young age developing tuberculosis. So these are the kind of artificial intelligence platforms that the AI team creates, which are artificial intelligence platforms for social good. So this is really just an overall and overarching, understanding of what Vadvani Foundation is, what we do, what we stand for. I'm going to now double down a little bit into Vadvani Entrepreneur, which is the second bucket that you see here. And Vadvani Entrepreneur has three different pieces. We have an inspiring piece, we have an education piece, and then we have a startup piece, right? So we have inspirational events. We have a lot of events that last year, of course, COVID changed all of that, but we had an event with ET Now, where we were having a lot of startups come and evangelize their ideas through various shows that we were having on TV, etc. So these are the kind of things we want to do to really enable young startups to showcase themselves. You get young students and the youth of India inspired to actually take up entrepreneurship as a journey. The real mass of what we do is the actual educating piece, right? Which is what I want to talk about most today. And we run our programs in entrepreneurship across hundreds of colleges in India, but also in Southeast Asia and Latin America and in Africa. And these programs, really, we have a very, very unique methodology that we use to disseminate these programs. Traditionally, these programs have been run in the classroom, but given COVID and even just the nature of how courses are disseminated today, we are actually moving to a more online and a more digitized format. So what really is the core of our methodology? One is learning by doing. So our entire course, both the foundation program and the advanced program, we have two courses. Both have a great deal of activities that make the core of this program, right? We want to make sure that students are working in teams. They start with their ventures from day one, and they always start their ventures as a team. So we never have a single student starting a venture. It's always in teams of 3 or 4. And they learn by doing these activities, which are part of the course as they start their venture and they go along the journey of their venture. There's a lot of flipped classrooms. So there's video-based learning, and this is something we expect students to watch before they come to the classroom, so that they already have some understanding of the concept that will be discussed in the classroom by the faculty. And also we use a lean startup methodology, which really is an agile way of building something, testing it, learning from it, and then going back to reiterating based on what you might have seen come out in terms of learnings, whether it's worked or it's not worked. And like I said, every course, you start the course with starting a venture. So the venture is a part of the course from day one. It's you're not learning about entrepreneurship, you're actually starting a venture from day one. So this is really how the methodology works. I'm going to stop here and check if there are any questions. Happy to answer them. If you have anything, please put it in the chat box. I'd like for this to be interactive. And I'd love to hear, how many of you all have taken entrepreneurship before as a course? Or how many entrepreneurs do we have here in the audience? Could you all raise your hand? Could I know Rupa?
Yeah. Good evening. Okay. So participants, start typing your responses in the chat box. We would love to see that.
Yeah, I would love to hear and know. I'd love to know what's the profile of our crowd today. How many people do we have in the audience? Do you know, Rupa?
Yeah, till now we have live attendees of 202.
Right. And I'd love to know out of those 202, how many are actually entrepreneurs, or are you actually wanting to be an entrepreneur and you're looking for inspiration, or you may have an idea and you're thinking about how to make that idea into reality. I kind of want to know, how you're connected with entrepreneurship and where your journey is. So would be very eager to
So
understand.
they started typing, and Harshit said he's interested. Priya, yes. Many answers you're getting from VIT, Wells Institute, PSG Institute of Management. Yes, we would like to be an entrepreneur. Okay. Okay, come up. Just
Awesome.
type your answers.
So that's great, and I would be very keen to have you guys answer questions as I go along. So please feel free to type it in the chat box, and then Rupa, stop me at any point that you see an interesting question, and I'd be happy to stop and answer so that it's more interactive and engaging, right? But I'm going to move ahead. So really, this is a nutshell of how our programs work for our students. Our target segment on the absolute left, if you see, is aspiring student entrepreneurs, existing student entrepreneurs at the idea stage. So you could either be someone who's a student and who's thinking about an idea and wants to be an entrepreneur but doesn't know how to go about it, or you could already be a young student entrepreneur and you already have an idea. You've kind of created a business model around it. You may even have your first couple of customers and you're wanting to go through a structured program which can really enable you to take your idea to a real venture. And we have both of those that come to us to get us to help them become entrepreneurs. We have three kinds of delivery models. Our traditional model since the past 15 years has been D2F, and that D2F is direct to faculty. So what really happens in direct to faculty is that we sign up with colleges. Colleges are our channel partners. Colleges, through their board of studies, get an approval to run our entrepreneurship courses. And we train faculty from colleges for our entrepreneurship programs. These faculty then go back and run the entrepreneurship programs for student batches in their colleges. And all of this, of course, is non-for-profit. We are a foundation and non-for-profit, so we do all of this for free. Our only intention is student outcomes and high impact, right? So there is no, commercial exchange between us and the college. But we train faculty from colleges. So that's really a traditional model where faculty go back to their colleges and teach in the classroom. The second delivery model is the direct to classroom. And in this particular model, we actually have our in-house faculty at Vadvani Foundation. They sit in studios, and of course now with the COVID situation hitting us, they sit in the comfort of their home. And they relay these classes live to students who are also sitting at home. So oftentimes we now call our D2C, which is direct to classroom model, a direct to home, or a D2H model, because we find faculty and students both sitting at home right now. The course is the same. There is no difference except that students are scattered wherever they are, or they might be in a classroom remotely located, and our faculty is teaching from our studio or from their home. The direct to student model is where we want to change the faculty's role to that of a facilitator. And this is something we've been thinking about for the past 7 to 8 months. But when COVID hit us about 4 or 5 months ago, it really made us even more aware of the need for a direct to student program where we have the entire program delivered digitally, and which students can consume at a self-paced mode, and faculty can just act as a facilitator in the learning process and in the entrepreneurial journey. So those are our 3 delivery models. And really what you're seeing here is, how we go about it. So we normally start off with an orientation and a diagnostic tool. We want to make sure that you are set up for success. So not everyone is cut out to be an entrepreneur. There are certain attributes, certain skill sets, certain qualities you must have, to be a successful entrepreneur. And then if you are found to be, having the right attributes or the right characteristics, you are put into either our foundation course or advanced course. The foundation course is for those students who either may be aspiring to be entrepreneurs or may just have an idea. Advanced course is for someone that already has a minimum viable product and a business model set up, and they want to actually advance in their journey of entrepreneurship, right? But the practice venture runs throughout our course, from the start of your foundation course going all the way to the end of your advanced course. We ensure that your starting of your course is a practice venture, but you get out of these 2 courses with a validated real venture, right? And we do have a WF, a Vadvani Foundation platform that supports you through all of it. So we have on-demand content, we have Connects is just our mentors, and we have an advisory life cycle. So we take you through a lot of advising through your journey with us, right? There's a lot of 360 support that we give as well. And, at the end of all of that, we are hoping that we come up with high-performing organizations, which are what we are calling hypos. And the practice venture really is your seed to entrepreneurship. And really the essence of our entire curriculum is around this practice venture, all of the videos, activities, etc. that I talked about. And it lays a very clear roadmap for how you can create your venture from, the start going all the way up to a real venture. Moving on, this is a little bit about the foundation course, but I won't go too much into detail. I'd rather leave time for questions so that if you all have more questions around each of these courses, I can answer those questions. But really, this is the first of the 2-part entrepreneurship curriculum that we have, like I mentioned. We run it through colleges, around 125 colleges around India today, but around 250 odd colleges around the world. It empowers early college students, to either develop an entrepreneurial mindset or to actually create a venture, right? I mean, it serves both purposes. And through the course, students also, kind of rediscover themselves. They understand what it would take if they chose entrepreneurship as an option for their career. And, also kind of helps them identify new business opportunities that might exist out there, either locally in their own communities or out there, globally in the world. And then we also have a 360-degree world exposure that, I will talk about a little later, to help students outside of the classroom learning or outside of the basic curriculum that we have. Moving on to the advanced course, this is the second part. Like I mentioned, there was the first part and then there's the second part. And here, these are for senior college students. You should have done the foundation course to be able to do the advanced course. But if you are a young entrepreneur that is already far ahead in your journey, we also take students at lateral entries into our advanced course. And again, we have a 360-degree real-world exposure. We have milestones built in at various junctures of your entire, venture journey, so that we can keep checking in with you and we can keep supporting you at every point of the way. We also have, in some colleges, we run something called the Startup Labs, and think of this as an incubator in a college. And we run our advanced course through an incubator format so that you can have a little bit more of a personalized hand-holding for our young startups in colleges. And moving on, I wanted to talk a little bit about the 360-degree support that we give to our students. So aside from the foundation and advanced course that I talked about, we do a lot of open pitch days where you can come and actually learn how to pitch your product, learn how to pitch your startup to us. We can help you, improve. We can help you deliver your pitch better so that, you're more ready for funding when you actually want to, pitch to an investor. We have demo days when, real ventures come and actually, give us an understanding of who they are, what their idea is about, what their venture is about. We have a jury of experts that come, and then these ventures and students receive feedback and scores for their demonstrations, right? And then we have something called the open hours, where our faculty is online, available for students, for doubt clearance, for any kind of real-time feedback on their ventures, any questions they may have, any support that they might need. We also have a whole bunch of master classes, a lot of marquee industry experts that come. We had Ganesh Krishnan come and talk to our students last semester. We had Ash Maurya come and talk about, his methodology, and we have a lot of young experts who are wanting to come and share their experiences with students, so that students can learn both from their failures as well as their successes, because failures are equally important. And last but not the least, we have the open house, right, where we call industry experts or functional experts onto a webinar like this one that we have, and they provide students with their real-time and the lifetime understanding of particular subjects. Students get a chance to ask questions and be more and more interactive.
Yeah, Monica, just have one question.
Sure.
Do you think we need to integrate entrepreneurship curriculum across higher education and school ecosystem, apart from having them as an optional modules or labs?
Well, I'm going to answer the question in two ways, Rupa. It's a great question. I think that entrepreneurship is the need of the hour, because entrepreneurship teaches you not only entrepreneurship, but it teaches you innovation. It teaches you to think out of the box. It helps you to really redefine your thinking about various things, right? It helps you to think about what are the problems that society faces that you can actually solve for. So in many ways, I think it is something that almost every student should do. However, in our case, we've tried to offer it very often as an elective course, because entrepreneurship, like I said earlier, we do have a filter test or a diagnostic test, and it's not for everyone, right? I mean, you have to have certain attributes, certain characteristics which are truly important for being an entrepreneur. Change is something you should be very comfortable with. You need to be an agile thinker. You need to be able to, work really hard, because in your initial days, it's a lot of hard work to set up a young company. And you need to be able to, go through the grind and keep yourself motivated over a period of time. So while I think that colleges should offer it, I don't know if entrepreneurship is for everyone. So all colleges should offer it, but perhaps offer it as an elective so that students can choose whether that's a journey that they want to undertake or not.
Okay.
Yeah. So this really then is, our 360-degree solution. It actually encapsulates and captures everything I talked about. The only thing I haven't spoken about is on the top, left-hand side that you can see, which is our app. We have an app outside of the tech platform that we have, an LMS solution, which has our courses that students use in colleges. But aside from that, we have an app, and this app helps you to connect with mentors, helps you to go through certain content. In that we have not only videos, but we have templates, we have checklists, we have blogs, we have articles, a lot of different things that an entrepreneur can use as tools to really enhance his or her knowledge, as well as help them along their journey. So that's the rest of it is all stuff that I've talked about, so I don't want to repeat myself, but this is really how our overall course structure looks like, and hopefully then all of that can lead to us inspiring students to create high potential startups. Because of the COVID-19, response that, just like everyone else has been struggling with and we struggled with, we realized that, the D2S program, the direct to student program, is something we should really work on. And, not only are we developing a course which is going to be piloted, in fact, in the next 1 month, to a bunch of students, both in high school as well as, college students, see how they take to a completely digital program. But we are going to want to focus on new age industries, like travel and tourism has taken a hit, food and beverage, non-essential retail, all of this has taken a hit. But at the same time, there is a opportunity in every challenge. So we have now additive manufacturing, you've got teleservices like health, education, finance, mental health guidance and counseling, blockchain, logistics, and e-commerce. There's a lot of other opportunities that have come up. So we want to support our entrepreneurs in coming up with ideas that are more new age, that because of COVID-19 has given rise to a lot of new opportunities, and kind of harness those opportunities for their entrepreneurship goals. We're wanting to do this through a direct student model. So we are hoping to launch it in a month and see how that works. And this is really the way the entire direct to student model will work. So we're going to have 2 programs. The Activate program is for young students who are in high school and early college. And then the Ignite program is for college seniors and even budding entrepreneurs who already maybe graduated but just started on their journey. And again, the highlights are we're going to be learning by working on the venture itself. There's going to be a lot of case study based method of learning and peer-to-peer learning with your, classmates. We are going to ensure that you've got early customer and revenue growth through a lot of interventions. And we're going to have jury members coming externally to actually validate your venture and kind of give you external feedback to see whether things are working and whether you should change things or they're going in the right direction. And then, of course, for those that do really well, we have a whole bunch of rewards, certifications, perks, benefits. We've tied up with AWS, RuPay, Razorpay. So there's a lot of different tie-ups that we have, that and incubators and accelerators that can take you on board and give you funding. And we have a whole bunch of VCs and funders as well. So all of this comes together then with the 360, and we ensure that we support you in your entire journey. So it's a continuum from the day you start your idea going all the way up to getting absorbed by an incubator, and that's how we plan for this program going forward. So really, this is in a nutshell a lot about our program, and this final slide is just about our ecosystem and impact. What we do, we have corporate challenges, so you see corporates there. I mentioned we work with educational institutes, and that's been our journey for the past 15 years. We work closely with governments for policy advocacy towards entrepreneurship becoming critically important and really having a strong startup culture in the country. We work with a lot of mentors to bring them on board so that they can support our students along the way. And we bring in industry experts, like I mentioned, through our 360-degree masterclasses and webinars that we have. We work hand in hand with investors to ensure that they look at our startups as potential ones for their funding. And we also work with industry associations and NGOs from time to time where it is relevant. Really for us, like I said, just to end this piece before I start taking questions, is we just want to enhance job opportunities. We really want to support students to establish ventures and develop and new ideas, and just enable them to innovate and create an entrepreneurial mindset and skills for themselves. And that's what our journey is, and I'm inviting you guys to come along that journey with us. And I think the country today really needs young entrepreneurs to take on the challenge of creating new jobs, so that our unemployment is not as high as it is. So that's where I will end. Thank you for listening so patiently, and I will let Rupa lead with some questions. I'm sure there are some questions that students want to ask.
Yeah, you can just stop sharing so that, yeah. Thanks a lot, Monica. I think it's a very informative session, and the slides are very informative. And moving ahead, I have few set of questions, and we would like to have a lovely conversation around them. Yeah. So do you think, Monica, how important are Industry 4.0 skills, and how industry and academia should work together in driving these skills across students?
Yeah. So let me start by saying that I think there is a huge gap, right, between industry and academia. I think that what academia is churning out in terms of graduates, there is a huge gap between the skills they have and the skills that are required by corporates that are absorbing young graduates, and what their expectation is of these graduates, right? I think in the future of work and the changing workplace, there are skills that are critically important outside of the hardcore skills that you might have. So if you're an engineer, or if you might be a pharmacy student, or you might be an art student graduating with psychology, I think beyond the subject matter expertise that you have, collaboration, like I was mentioning earlier, that we teach through our skills program, critical thinking, communication, these are important skills to have, so that you can work in teams, so that you can problem solve, so that you can really think out of the box and innovate, right? And I think that it is time that we looked at our curriculum in colleges a little more holistically. So we are not only thinking about hardcore skills that we teach. It could be finance if it's a management course, but we need to teach them real life skills that are going to enable them to be successful in industry in the future. And I think we're far away from it yet. I know that there are a few colleges that are forward looking and thinking ahead and are doing that, but I would say that's very few in the country.
Yeah, that's great. So let's moving at for the next question. Do you think the industry will recognize online courses and certifications? Because I could see during the COVID times, a lot of students are opting for MOOC-centric courses, especially in this pandemic times. Do you think they will recognize this, the industry?
I'm going to answer that question in two parts. The first thing I'm going to say is, for example, Google,
Hmm.
14%, 14% of all employees at Google have never attended college,
Hmm.
right? So
Hmm.
there are a lot of forward-thinking companies who do not believe that you need to have a college degree necessarily to get employed, right? It's all
Hmm.
about having the right attitude, mindset, and skills.
Hmm. Hmm.
So therefore, you may not ever attend college, but if you're a really great coder, I guess a Google or a Amazon might hire you because that's what they want, right? On
Hmm.
another note, because of COVID and even before COVID, was a huge trend of students graduating and not taking up full-time jobs, but really we are moving into the gig economy, right? And in the gig economy, I mean, these are short-term projects that you might take up, and you might work part-time at maybe two or three or four different places. And what those people really want is not to know whether you have a degree, but do
Hmm.
you have the right skill sets? So somebody who has digital marketing skill sets might be working for three, four companies and using his or her digital marketing skill sets to support them in their social media and digital marketing plan, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
I don't think they're ever asked about whether they have a degree in digital marketing. Really, they've got to show the kind of work they've done in their past, and if they've really done good quality work, people want to, bring them on board. So, to answer your question, I think that going into the future, um, I think a lot of corporates will not really care whether you have just a certification or a degree. They will really want to see whether you have true skill sets that can really add value to them.
Okay. Moving on to the next question. You have a lot of experience in fundraising. So, how do students approach this? Can you speak about National Entrepreneurship Network's early stage funding program?
Yeah, so we don't have just a funding program, Rupa. Our funding is a part of the overall program. So if you join
Hmm.
our program, and I saw some students asking on the chat box, do we charge? No, we don't charge, right? We're a foundation. It's all for free, and students can come and join our programs. So
Hmm.
if they
Hmm.
join our program, the funding is a part of what we do as the hand holding we do when we are teaching them the course, right?
Hmm.
They can't
Hmm.
come to us just for the funding piece. But having said that, I think there are two or three important things that funders look for in a young startup. And that is something I think students must remember and always keep at the back of their mind, right? So I think the first thing is the team. At least
Hmm.
as a founder for the 9 years that I was an investor, I always was very, very curious to know who the team members are, right? Whether it's one, two, or three founders or co founders.
Hmm.
I want to know whether they have complementary skill sets. I want to know what their background is. I want to know how agile they are in their thinking. I want to know whether they're the kind of people that, if the business is not doing according to their expectations, will they pivot quickly and be able to make the most of new opportunities that are coming their way. So I think team is the number one thing. Before they go to investors, they must make sure that they have a very good solid team, because I think the team is 50 to 60% of your job done, a strong team. The
Hmm.
second thing I always look for is the market opportunity, right? I mean, you have a
Hmm.
product. Is there a market opportunity for the product that you've decided to come up with, or a service that you've decided to come up with? Because oftentimes it's a great idea or a great product, but unfortunately there isn't a market for it. And the second piece to that same point is a need to have versus a nice to have, right?
Hmm.
And articulating that very, very well, because I might have something as a product that's really nice, but it's not necessary for me to buy it. I mean, it's a nice to have, it's not a need to have. So the
Hmm.
minute you have a need to have product, it makes it just that much more exciting for somebody to buy, or that much more of a need for somebody to buy. And it's also how well you communicate what your, therefore, to the market, what's your unique selling proposition is. So to
Hmm.
highlight that, say for example, when Uber first decided to get to the market, it had three things that it said, right? You will never need to own a wallet. You will
Hmm.
never need to own a car. You will
Hmm.
never need directions to where you want to go.
Hmm. Hmm.
You're very, very clear to your customer what is it that you're giving them in terms of the offering, right? And
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
there a market opportunity for that?
Hmm.
And third, I think, uh, you know, um, if you can bootstrap and you can, for a small amount of money, really show some amount of customer traction, some amount of revenue generation, then it is contingent upon funders to say, well, here is a team that has thought through the product, that has some initial traction, and we really want to back them. I mean, those are the things I would say, funders would look for in young startups.
Yeah, I'm happy to tell you one thing. In the community dashboard, Monica, I could view more than 150 plus likes for this session till now.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, moving on to the next question, Monica. What are the emerging technologies you think should students could look upon in building up of their career or building up of their startups?
So to me personally, unless it's a deep tech startup, I would say technology is an enabler, right? I mean, in the current situation and the times we live in, technology is an enabler. So earlier you could have had a health startup where you may have had physical clinics. Now you have a health tech startup and you're moving, through a technology enabled startup. You may have had an education startup and now you're moving to ed tech, and there are a lot of large ed tech companies that you're seeing grow today. You may have had a company that dealt with agriculture before, and now you have agri-tech, right? So to me personally, tech is only an enabler. But what I think is important, again, going back to my earlier conversation around, having 2 or 3 co-founders that have really good skill sets, I believe that if you really want to have a tech-enabled startup, at least one person amongst your founding team needs to be the hacker. I mean, I call that person a hacker because that person is very well versed with new age technologies, with artificial intelligence, with machine learning, because a lot of our young startups today are data driven, right? I mean, you need to be data, and for data mining to happen, you need to be strongly focused on artificial intelligence and machine learning, so that it's giving you the data that you need and it's helping you personalize your product or service for your customer. So I think that those are the kind of technologies, but I think that there's one person in the founding team that has to be that hacker who really understands technology deeply. And the rest of them have to have other skill sets, right? Because technology is not enough. Like I said, it's only an enabler. Somebody must understand what sales and marketing is, and how branding works, digital marketing, especially in today's time. Somebody's got to figure out operations, how to run efficient operations. So I think, because I've seen a lot of companies where the founders are all techies, they do a great job of creating a product, they're in love with their product, they're product people, but then they're unable to sell, they're unable to move along. So I think technology is as important as having the other skills that you need to have as young startups.
Okay, moving further, Monica, tell me, would you like to highlight on English employability and entrepreneurship modules developed by Vadvani Foundation, and how is it relevant to college or school to adopt? We have many teachers, the faculties in our live talk show, and it would be so interesting for them to hear about these modules.
Sure, absolutely. So the English modules are not a part of the NEN program, because like I had shown in my earlier slideshows, for those that might not have been there at the time, Vadvani Opportunity is our skilling program, where we've got very, very strong modules that can enable you to be proficient in English. And for those colleges or students that really want to avail of our skilling program, I'm very happy, Rupa, to give you contact information for our Vadvani Opportunity team, and they can enable them to get onto our skilling platform, which is called JobsWise, right? The platform that we run for National Entrepreneurship Network, it's called LearnWise. So this is more about learning entrepreneurship modules. Everything we do at Vadvani Foundation is for free. There are no charges. Colleges can reach out to us. I am happy to put in my email ID here, which I'm going to do right away. And all college faculty, as well as administration, whoever it is from colleges or students, can write to me directly, and I am happy to work with them to set up this program in their college. So entrepreneurship modules are run for free in all colleges. We do not charge for it. There are no fees. All we require is for them to sign an MOU with us and to show us interest in our programs.
Okay. So our audience would like to know whether there are any diversity-centric engagements at Vadvani to drive
engagements?
Diversity.
Okay.
diversity-centric engagements at Vadvani to drive women entrepreneurship? Do you have any partnership with organizations like, Girls Who Code, Anita Borg Institute in promoting these initiatives?
No, so currently we don't have partnerships with others, but very recently we enabled NSDC had come to us, and the government of India and Startup India wanted us to train about 30 women entrepreneurs, and these were women entrepreneurs from rural India who were doing home-based businesses, and we did enable them to run a program for 9 weeks where we trained women entrepreneurs who are in rural India to really understand how they can succeed and grow their businesses. And I think going into the future, that is something that's an area that we would really like to focus on, because I do believe in gender diversity immensely, and I would love to see that happen. We also do have something called the Vadvani Catalyst Fund, which is a small $25 million fund that we have set up to invest in young startups that create jobs. And one of the things we do there is we do focus on funding those companies where either they are women-led oftentimes, or also if they have programs that empower women. So those are the different ways that we enable the gender diversity to be addressed. But I don't think we do enough, to be honest, and we would like to do a lot more.
Okay. So, do you have any student ambassador programs at NEN chapters? And most of the large organization, they focus on tier 1 campuses and ignore the rest. And how are you addressing this space from outreach to tier 2 and 3 campuses?
So, on the student ambassadors front, we have something called the startup clubs that we run, right? Or e-cells. We call them e-cells or startup clubs. And these are run on a lot of campuses that we associate ourselves with. And we definitely have e-leaders or student ambassadors in those campuses. So we are in 125 campuses. So we have almost 120 to 150 campus ambassadors in these colleges, right? That we are associated with. And sorry, what was your second question?
The second question, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So no, we work with IITs, IIMs, and we work with tier B and C colleges, and we work with large cities, and we work with small cities. So we are in Raipur. I mean, we are in all sorts of small and large cities, as well as in tier 1 and tier 2 and 3 colleges. So we don't differentiate. What we really want is a faculty member and a college, administrator that's genuinely passionate about setting up our programs. We don't differentiate. In fact, we would love to. I actually feel that, in our rural parts, semi-urban and semi-rural parts of India, there are students who are very enthusiastic, and oftentimes they don't get the opportunity, to bring their real ideas to life. So we would love to address those, and I absolutely, we don't stick with tier 1 cities.
Okay. As Rajan Anandan, ex-Google India head, used to say, most of the Indian startups are focused on 100 million audience. Do you think it's a time, especially in the COVID-19 times, to focus on building startups and aimed at touching billion lives? Do you think that?
Yes, I absolutely think so. I think that, a lot of India is online today. I don't know if 1.3 billion people are online, but I definitely think 700 to 800 million people are online. And I think that COVID has forced everyone to go online for almost all of their needs, right? I've heard people talking about having doctor appointments online. I've heard about people, obviously kids are learning online. I've heard about farmers getting help online for whatever you want to do is happening online. So I think that young students, and they're digital natives, right? I mean, the young kids today who are between the ages of 18 and 25, anything digital comes very naturally to them. I mean, technology is just second nature to them. So I think they should absolutely make use of it and ensure that they target the 700 to 800 million population. And I mean, we have a country where we have the youth dividend, right? I mean, we have such a young country, and all of these young people are online. And I think it's a price sensitive market, but you can find almost everyone online if you have something worthy of a product or a service that's worthy of selling.
Okay, Monica, moving further, a lot of the students have a tendency to get afraid of the failure. It's a natural tendency of most of the students. Your advice to address this, especially for the students who have dreams of building the startups?
So, guys, I was an entrepreneur, and I can only tell you from my own experience. I started in 2000 when I came back after my MBA from the US. And I just decided, because I loved my experience in the US, I totally enjoyed those 2 years of gaining my MBA. And it was very different from the experience I'd had of studying in Bombay at a BCom college, Sydenham. It was just a very traditional BCom degree. And when I came back, all I knew is that I wanted to make a difference in the space of education. I had no background in education or teaching or running a company. And I started with nothing but 5,000 rupees in my pocket, right? And I grew that company. And in 2009, when I sold that company and moved over to private equity, that company was at that time having a revenue of about 5 to 6 crores. During those 9 years, I failed several times. And I think there were two things that I can say. One is I learned a lot more from those failures than my successes. And I look back fondly at those failures because they taught me so many things which helped me to succeed. And secondly, and equally importantly, every single time that I failed or I didn't do as well as I expected, I would pick myself up and go out again and fight, And I think those are the things that really, when you look back, we're now in 2020, so I'm talking about 2000 to 2009. Those are exciting times, and you learn so much from them. So I would say that you learn more from failure, so you should allow yourself to fail and not feel bad about it. And you should pick yourself up every time you fail and just learn from it and not repeat those mistakes.
It's well said, Monica. Do you think the next decade belongs to TCS, Infosys, or HCL, or a Paytm, Ola, or Flipkart? Your view on service-based companies versus startups in driving the workforce development?
Yeah, I think TCS, Infosys, and all will always exist. But if you ask me what are the new age opportunities for young kids who want to get into entrepreneurship, I would say it's all the new age stuff, right? Like I was saying earlier, logistics, education, technology, agri-tech, health tech. All of these are, young upcoming industries, and they are still ripe for innovation. I don't think we've hit maturity yet, right? And I think that all of these industries lend themselves to a lot of innovation. So I think that there is so much disruption that can still happen in the future that I would urge students to look at careers in these new age industries. I don't think TCS or Infosys will ever go away. But I think that time period that we had for everybody who wanted to be a computer science engineer, who wanted to, go and work for these big 4 or 5 IT firms, I think that is changing. I think what the new age and the future of work requires are very different skills, is a very different mindset. It's a lot of innovation and entrepreneurial and intrapreneurial ability. And I think that that's where young students should head.
Yeah, moving further, Monica, does Vadwani have any programs to train faculty or teachers in academic institutions?
So we don't have any academic institutions of our own. We do have some in-house teachers where, like I mentioned earlier, we run the direct-to-classroom program. But most of the times we tie up with institutes who have their own faculty. We bring them down and train them. We were doing it physically before, but now with COVID, this year, in fact, we've done all of our training virtually as well. So we don't have our own colleges or institutions. We have faculty who relay classes online live, or we train in faculty from other institutions.
Okay. For a college supposed to set up NEN chapter or centers, what are the requirements required for that? Can you specify? Any space, infra, tech?
Yes. So we normally sign up an MOU with them. We ask them to get a Senate approval for our course, especially if they want to run it as a credit program. But if they don't want to run it as a credit program or they want to run it just as an elective course, we're okay with that as well. We do have a certain amount of requirements just in terms of them giving us a faculty member for training, just in terms of them ensuring that they will adhere to some of our teaching methods and norms, and helping us to support the students in every way we can, right? So those are the only requirements we have. And they do have to pay for the faculty training. Earlier they used to send the faculty physically. Now the faculty training is live, so online, so there is no cost attached with it. But earlier they would pay for the faculty to fly down to Bangalore to our head office and actually get trained, which like I said, now is all virtual and online. So aside from that, we expect nothing. We expect them to have classrooms, students, and just support those students along the way. We do everything else.
Okay. So does NEN has any partnership with global accelerators like Y Combinator, Microsoft Accelerator, or Amazon Launchpad?
So we have another program called the Venture Fast Track program, where we tie up with incubators and accelerators, and we have a structured program, just like we have the foundation and advanced course I was talking about. We have a very structured program for incubators and accelerators. And we have been funded by Gates Foundation to train 100 incubators and accelerators around India that have been funded by Atal Innovation Mission. So we have all of them in our networks. We don't own any of them, but we support these accelerators and incubators in actually running structured programs for their startups and incubators.
Moving to the next question, do you have any hackathons or innovation challenges apart from NEN chapters to motivate students like Imagine Cup of Microsoft or a Mind Challenge of IBM?
So we don't have hackathons, but we do have what we call RB pitch battles, where real ventures come and pitch their various ventures, and it's like a battle, and at the end of it we have rewards and certifications. So we have different other events and products that we run where we have startups pitching and battling it out for the top few startups. Yes.
Okay. So Wadhwani, operates across 25 countries with a rich experience of transforming economies. Can you tell us the ways in which you're contributing to India, especially on the technology front and the policy level interventions?
Sure. So on technology, I think I'd mentioned earlier, we have Wadhwani AI, and we are using artificial intelligence for social good in agriculture, in health, and potentially in the future in education as well. And you had another question?
I also asked to tell us the ways in which you are contributing in the policy level interventions.
So yes, we have a Wadhwani policy group which works closely with the government, and in fact we are starting a policy institute in the next 1 month, and where the Prime Minister has agreed to have 3 of his representatives on that policy institute and 3 of our representatives, which will aggressively work on technology policy.
Okay, that's very great.
With the central government. Yes.
So we are highly inspired by your founder, Padma Shri Dr. Romesh Wadhwani, his vision and execution. Can you share your experience of working with him and also his dream of transforming India?
Yeah, he's just awesome. It's been a year and a month now that I've been working at the foundation. I haven't seen someone who's 73 and who's so sharp. I think what I've learned from him is that the devil lies in the details. He can go to the absolute minute detail of anything that you're talking to him about. He's very, very quick as a learner, and he's always pushing us hard to think in an agile fashion. And I think that's the best thing I've learned from him, right? We're constantly changing. Every time we think of something, we go to pilot it. He wants to think about how we can do it better. So he's always pushing us to think out of the box, to think innovation, and to think how to get better. And I think that really is the hallmark of who Romesh is and why he's so successful.
Yeah, that's the last question from our side, Monica. You are the role model for all of us. So our audience are excited to see your achievements, educational qualifications, and work you had been doing in transforming the NEN chapters and empowering startups in India. Can you share some success mantras with students and young professionals right now who have participated in this session?
Sure. I think the only thing I want to say is that, growing up in the time and age that I grew, people used to always talk about a career ladder, and people would plan for their careers in advance and, have like have a thought process that I'm going to work in this company, and after 3 years I'm going to try and apply to that company, and I'll move from this level to the other level, etc. For me, it's been a jungle gym, right? Jungle gym meaning I've just moved into different different positions, different kind of industries, different kind of work that I've done, and I've tremendously enjoyed it. And I think the only thing I would tell young students today is just be open, right? Just be open, be flexible, be excited about what the future holds, and and just take opportunities as they come your way. Like, you don't have to plan so much in advance about what you're going to do next every time. Like, sometimes life has a plan for you, and as you go along, some interesting opportunities come your way, and you should just embrace those and do your best.
Yeah. Wonderful response. I think that's actually one of the success mantra for all the students and faculty, whoever are viewing this. So next, coming to the audience questions. So first question by Shivani Roy from ITFI. What is the role of innovation in entrepreneurship?
I think in the age and time we live in, it's extremely important, right? Because like I said earlier, you might have a product, and if you can't innovate and quickly pivot when you find that your product is not working, then you're doomed to fail, right? So innovation is constantly thinking out of the box, right? You have an idea, you go to market with it, you realize that it may not be working exactly how you thought about it, and you immediately start innovating again. So I think innovation is actually, not even part of entrepreneurship. I think innovation is entrepreneurship, right? Or entrepreneurship is innovation, because unless you can innovate today, it's hard to be a successful entrepreneur continuously, right? All of the top entrepreneurs that you see in the world, they constantly innovate and iterate. It's never the same product always.
Okay. The next question is from Rahul Jain from ISB. What are the key factors to build a tech hub?
The key factors to build a tech hub. I mean, to be very honest, Rupa, I'm not a technology expert. I'm an entrepreneurship and a startup expert. But my sense is, having worked out of the Silicon Valley for a long time. I mean, my answer is based on that experience. I would say that academia and industry need to work very closely for that to happen, right? The reason Silicon Valley or the Bay Area, San Francisco, is the way it is that all of the colleges and universities, that's what they churn out in terms of graduates. That's what happens when these graduates who are innovative and technology experts start their startups. They attract more funders, more people, and then overall this becomes a technology hub, right? I mean, you see all of the top technology companies in the world, and more specifically the US, they all come from one particular area. So why is that the case? It's because they've kind of worked together in industry and academia to really create a culture of technology and an understanding of deep tech.
Okay. Next question is from Shruti from IRMA. Ma'am, what do technology company executives and venture capitalists should understand about selecting and investing in the global technology centers?
So, well, I can tell you what they do understand. I think that for most of them, unless it's a deep tech company, it's not so much about the technology, because like I said earlier again, most people in venture capital, unless they technology is what they're focused on, they're not technology experts, right? They're experts in investing. So what is their expertise? Their expertise is in identifying a unique team with a unique idea that is really going to grow big. And so, again, like I mentioned before, to me, technology is an enabler. So as long as they see an idea which technology can be used to further enhance, then they'd be excited about the technology piece. But it's not the technology itself that they're really betting on, unless, like I said, it's a deep tech company. Otherwise, if it's a health tech company, the unique piece is the health idea, not the tech idea, right? I mean, the technology is only an enabler. So I would say that they would always look at that as an enabler.
Okay. The next question is from Arun. from Wells Institute of Science and Technology and Advanced Studies. What are the top 5 trends, ma'am, in the Indian entrepreneurship sector for 2020?
The top.
5 trends. Trend.
Yeah. So, like I mentioned earlier, I'm very, very bullish on health tech. I'm very bullish on ed tech. I'm very, very bullish on logistics. I would also say I'm very, very bullish on mental health and counseling and those kind of areas. Um, and all sorts of e-commerce, those would be the ones that I would think would really do well.
Okay. So the next question is from Ashwant Reddy from Lovely Professional University. How digital innovation are helping to tackle climate change and sustainable development?
Again, I'm not an expert on climate change, but I have in my past avatars seen a lot of young student startups that are trying to address the climate change issue. A lot of them were not tech startups, but a lot of them have used technology very, very successfully to support the effort in helping the environment and in addressing climate change. So I actually think that people are doing very unique work in just, and I was telling you about our artificial intelligence platform that actually can enable you to predict the cotton crop. So there are a lot of artificial intelligence platforms out there that are supporting climate change. I haven't seen too many startups in India yet, but out of our colleges, there are a lot of environmentally friendly startups that come out that are actually doing the work they're doing so that they can support the environment.
Okay. Next question is from Pratyaksh Agrawal. What is the first thing, ma'am, we should consider while going for a startup?
Again, same answer. I think you should be thinking about your team the first, right? Who's going to be the team? This team is going to stay with you forever. As long as your startup exists, your team will exist. And I think who the co-founders are is probably the most critical piece, because even if you have an idea, that idea doesn't work or that idea needs to be pivoted, if you've got a good, strong team, that'll really work. You will be able to pivot, you'll be able to change your idea, you'll be able to change the way you're thinking about it. So I feel that a strong team is the most important. Hey Rupa,
Yeah.
it's already 8:07.
Yeah.
And I do have a
That's
call
done.
in another 7 or 8 minutes.
Yeah,
So
it's
do you think we
actually
can
done.
take the last couple of questions and then round it off, if that's
Yeah,
okay?
the questions are done, Monica.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Now, I just want to say that thank you so much, Ms. Monica Mehta, for your valuable time and inputs. So, I believe our audience would have enjoyed this session a lot. You have anything to say to the session or the audience?
No, just thank you for being here. Thank you for spending valuable time on a Saturday evening. And if you're here on a Saturday evening, that means entrepreneurship might really interest you, because I'm sure a lot of young students may want to do many other things on a Saturday evening. I enjoyed thoroughly engaging and spending my time with all of you. And I've given you my email. I'll put it on again. If there are any questions or anything you want to address to me, you're very welcome to do so. I also, on the other hand, want to thank Rupa and the INDIASPARK team for putting this together. I think they're doing an amazing job. I think that the work that she's doing to ensure that young students or the youth of the country are actually gaining skills and getting employable, such that they can have a better livelihood in the future. And that too, she's not only targeting the metro cities. Like, what I understand from Rupa is that she's really targeting students in semi-urban and semi-rural India. And I think that that's awesome, because I often feel that they're the ones that have the most talent but not the most opportunities, right? And therefore, that is awesome work. Also, you're addressing gender diversity, Rupa, and I think between both of those things, you're doing an amazing job. And you always have our support at the National Entrepreneurship Network. So if there's anything we can ever do for your colleges, for INDIASPARK, to really further this cause of employability, entrepreneurship, and skilling, always here to support. Keep doing the fantastic work you do. And thank you everyone for being on the chat
Thanks a
today.
lot. Thanks a lot for that, Monica. I would also like to thank the participants from companies like Infosys, TCS, HCL, Wipro, Honeywell, Amazon, Paytm, Flipkart, Byju's, Chopper, and foundations like Ambuja, ICICI, Reliance, Tech Mahindra, Gates, and Clinton Foundations. We have the colleges like IIT Delhi, IIT Kanpur, IIT Kharagpur, SRM, NIT Surathkal, IIM Lucknow, IIM Indore, IIM Kozhikode, ISB Hyderabad and Mohali, IRMA Anand, IMI Delhi, FMS Delhi, XLRI, Great Lake Institute of Management, Symbiosis Institute of Business and Management, SP Jain Institute of Management, Narsi Monji Institute of Management and Studies, Ford School of Management, MET Business School, Mittal School of Business, Goa Institute of Management, Jagan Institute of Management, PSG Institute of Management, Institute for Technology and Management, KG Somaya Institute of Management and Studies, lovely and universities like Nirma University, LPU, GD Goenka, NorthCap, ICFI, JCRC, Manav Rachna, Galgotia, and JL Bajaj Group of Institutions, Graphic Era, KL University, Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, Wales Institute of Science and Technology, Maharaja Agrasen College of Engineering, Christ University, Nanda Engineering College, Pragati Engineering College, Jaipuria Institute of Management, Dr. B.C. Roy Engineering College, Siddhaganga Institute of Technology, Srimati Shushila Devi Institute, IBS, Shanti Business School, Vigyan Institute of Information and Technology, the College of Engineering Pune, Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad University, GS Lohia Girls College, Heritage School, Eluru College of Engineering, Andhra University, JNTU Hyderabad, Visvesvaraya Institute of Technology, Parul Institute of Engineering and Technology, Walchand Institute of Technology, Dialbag Educational Institute, Institute of Technical Education, Siksha O Anusadan, Satavahani University, AVC College, SFR College for Women, SVMS College, Tirupati, Dr. MGR Janaki College of Arts and Science for Women, and Princeton Academy, SJBIT Bengaluru. So thank you everyone for your valuable time and active participation. We look forward to see you at our next session. Our next session is on 25th July, same time, with another eminent speaker of the day. Session is Mr. Prashant Shukla, the Managing Director, Southeast Asia Udemy, a San Francisco based one of the largest online learning platform of the world. So look forward to see you at our next session. Until then, stay tuned. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Stay home. Have a great day. Thank you so much, Monica, once again. And thank you so much for the team of AMIT, Mr. Hello. Yeah. Thank you so much for the team of AMIT, Saheb, and Sabri. Thanks a lot once again.